We are here today with Wade Fernandez. Very excited to have him on. And this is a continuation of our music and music industry musicianship through a native lens this month. So Wade, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I did this last week and I think I managed it, but I'm gonna try to pronounce your traditional name. Wishuin Apis Mahwao. Is that correct? Okay, cool. So Wade Fernandez, his traditional name means walks with the black wolf, and he's a multi-award-winning international touring artist and educator from the Menominee Nation. Began his solo career joining Jackson Browne and the Indigo Girls on stage, which has led to a long career with over 70 international tours and includes the Woodstock performance in 1994 and the Kennedy Center. And his music and his message are firmly grounded in his Menominee Reservation roots and the love for the land, animals, and people. And then for anyone new here, we just also like to give a little background on Pandion Music Foundation. We're a new, I guess not super new now, but a newish nonprofit 501c3 organization working to break down the barriers between industry professionals and emerging artists and help give free resources to independent artists looking to build their careers, especially those who might not have the financial resources to pay for any courses or traditional education. So we've been running these workshops weekly with a different mentor each week from different areas of the music industry, and are always so honored to have different guests on from all over the country, and sharing their expertise and what they do specifically in the music industry and their careers and how they've gotten to where they are. So it's really nice to have you here, Wade. And we also just wanted to let everyone know that we're doing a campaign this month called Grateful November. So if you have a song, either a cover song or an original song that reminds you to be grateful and live with an open heart, please feel free to do a little quick performance or even just a photo that represents the song and post on your Instagram or Facebook and then tag us in it, and you'll be entered into a drawing for a little prize at the end of the month. And we're just using this to kind of help spread the word about Pandion. And if you have the means to donate, we always appreciate that as well. So that's for the month of November around Giving Tuesday, which is coming up at the end of the month.
Jordan, are our listeners, our community also able to drop in a link to one of their songs about giving and about being grateful?
Yes, we will also be making playlist, a Spotify playlist at the end of the month. So if you're the song that you choose is on Spotify, you can also link that and we'll add it to a little playlist that we're going to create at the end of the month. Thanks for reminding me about that, Rebecca. And then, yeah, Rebecca Trujillo Best is here from Pandion, and I think Anai is there as well. I see a couple of us from Pandion are here today, and lovely to see everybody else. So we can get started, Wade, whenever you're ready. And if people want to ask questions, Wade, you can let everyone know how you'd like to take those throughout the call, or if you want to wait till the end, then that's fine as well.
Poso Natano e Markanak, Mishik Ma Nuyak, Machitok, Aswisian, Wichiwan, a piece, Mahwao, Wade Fernandez, Mokuman, and Aswisian, Wasna Totem, and this Matna Mane, Skonakan. I'm coming from the Menominee Reservation. That's where I live. That's where I am right now. And I introduced myself in the Menominee language. I basically said, hello, all my relatives. And I said my Menominee name, Wichiwin Peace Mahwao, my Mokuman name, my European American type of name, Wade Fernandez, and I'm from the land set aside for the Menominee, or the Menominee Reservation. I'm also of the Bear Clan. And so It's great to be here. I see a few familiar faces, all the way from Europe, and in Wisconsin, um, and as well as some new faces. So it's great to be here. I just got off from I just got back from Hawaii, doing a tour out there, based around a jazz blues festival, and then flew in and with lost luggage, and my flutes were in my luggage and my some of my guitar stuff. But fortunately, the day later it came in time to do a gig last night, in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, at a university last night for a Native American program, and I'm about to head out tomorrow, and do some more gigs, and it's it's just a lot of traveling and things, but it's good to set your feet down on Koko Masakamekano, on Grandmother Earth, and be grounded. And the cool thing, I think, because some of you are probably touring musicians, and I think that one of the most beautiful things is to be able to, wherever you are, um, go out into nature, go out into the land and ground yourself, because Grandmother Earth is everywhere. Everywhere you're going to be performing, unless you're on the moon right now. I don't know, but it there's a beautiful way to feel like you're at home everywhere you are. Part of it can be mindfulness and meditation, but also that just being able to sit down on the ground, or maybe take your shoes off, and feel the earth under your feet, go out by the trees, whatever. It's For me, it's one of the best ways even to take care of jet lag. Um, it really helps me. So I've been performing for a lot of years. I don't even know exactly how long, um, and I've traveled extensively around the world. And my friends from Germany over there, I think I've probably been around Germany about 40, 50 times, maybe more. I don't even know. But just a lot of traveling. And when I was a child, I didn't go very far at all. I stayed on the reservation, and just going to school was a big deal to me, because I was kind of raised more in the forest area of the reservation, 8 miles from the nearest village, and so my neighbors were trees and animals, and I'd have to walk about a mile down the road to see my cousin. Um, but it was a quiet and peaceful place, and going into the village in Kashina. I remember the first time I had to cross the road in Kashina, which is unincorporated, and one of my friends had to pull me back so I wouldn't get hit by a car, because I was just used to just kind of living in the woods area more often, um, and uh, and it was a little more confusing. But since then, like I said, I've traveled around the world, and I've gotten used to driving on the opposite side of the road on tours. Well, not used to it, but I've done those things, and um, we're all adaptable. And I think um, any of you out there who are musicians and looking to travel, and maybe have some fears or some anxieties about traveling, you kind of have to set those on the side, because if the music is really important, and even more importantly, the message of the music, the healing part of the music, if that's really something that draws you and brought you into music in the first place, then whatever's in the way, whatever borders are in the way, you have to kind of set those aside, um, and take chances. Um, and that's how I've been able to do these things in my life. And I'm going to talk a little bit more, but I want to bring us in with a little bit of music. I have over here. I have a peppercorn, a Native American flute, and I'm gonna grab that. So this instrument is not this one in particular, but these instruments were here well before Columbus sailed across the ocean and got lost and thought he was in India. We had these well before that. So they're not influenced by a recorder or anything like that. And for me, it's a good way to kind of bring my audience in and kind of center everybody. For me, it also has a very direct connection to Grandmother Earth. And when I play it, I tend to try to be respectful of everything that's around me, all the people around me, all my relatives, but also my relatives that are plant and animal and all the things that are life here on Grandmother Earth, and also including our ancestors, because we wouldn't be here without our ancestors. And my belief, our ancestors are still around us, as spirits. So I'm going to do something with all of that in mind. Okay. Now, I want to ask you in the chat quick. How was the sound for that? Was it too loud? Was it distorting? Okay. Good. Good. I was trying to stay back a little bit because I was afraid it was gonna be too loud for the microphones. And so it, like I said, it's a traditional instrument of Menominee and of other tribal nations as well here, and I like to start shows like that because it kind of puts us in a place where everybody can kind of tune out of where they were before, and I think that's a beautiful thing, is to find a way to transform your audience like into your space, into the shared space. I don't know where you perform or where you play, but people are coming in, sometimes rushing to get to the show, sometimes quickly dropping off their kids for a to a babysitter. Maybe they have like their meeting on their mind of what they have after the show or what they just got done doing. So we want to try to welcome them into a space that's like I said, a shared space. We're performers, but they are just as much a part of the performance as we are. So we have to give that respect, and that respect to all the things in that place, and try to become one with that. And for me, it's doing this. I also am a guitarist, and so A lot of times, say like if I didn't have a flute, maybe I'll do an improvisation to start out with, you know. Um, so, like I said, trying to bring everybody in and allowing them a sense of some room in your space, because it's not about us. It really isn't. It's about all of us together. Um, and when I was a child, I was like extremely shy, and to be able to come up in front of people and perform, sing, do any of those things was extremely terrifying. Um, to the point that when I was a child, I would actually um, I would actually lock my bedroom door with I mean we didn't have a lock, so I'd put a little butter knife in the door jamb, and I shared it with two brothers, that room. But when they were out of the room, that's what I would do, and then I would take a pillow from my bed, bring it into the closet, and I would sing in that pillow as quiet as I could, because I didn't even want my parents to hear me. Um, so it took me a while to get my voice out there, and it took me a while to get up on stage. But the music was such a deep thing for me. As a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, I could feel, I could really feel the emotion in music, and it was just, you know, kept drawing me in to perform, drawing me in, and so I had to try to weigh the shyness with the performance thing. My dreams were to travel around and to have CDs and be on the radio and on television. But if you're extremely shy and you can't even come out of the closet, how are you going to do that? So I really had some challenges ahead, and what I ultimately what I started to do was try to think of my shyness as it's something that's a part of me, and it's going to be with me forever. But when it's time to get on that stage, it's got to sit down and be quiet, because I have a job to do, and that job is bigger than I am. It's it's a job of sharing a gift that I was given, and as musicians, as artists, as just people in general in this world, we are all born with things that that we're passionate about, that we can develop some kind of a skill at doing, and when we share those things, it changes the world in a better way. If we don't share them, it hurts us. It's painful. We wish that we would have done it. We think, if only I would have done this, and maybe we even get angry and jaded towards other musicians or other people or other artists, because we didn't do the things that we really were drawn to do. And in my belief, we all have purposes in life, and our real purpose ultimately is to be able to share. Um, we're given things, and we just have to let them pass through and share them and pass them on to other people. And when we do that, we find success, and we find so much bigger than fame or money or anything like that. It's just that feeling of um, you did what you were here to do, you know, um, and it helps you to deal with the shyness, to deal with the anxiety, to deal with all those fears, all those human fears that have a purpose, but those purposes are not to get in the way of letting that light shine through, letting that power come through, that that beauty. So let me get a drink of water. This is another part of the power, which is taking care of yourself. How can you share these things if you're not taking care of your body? If you're not taking care of your emotional wellness and all these things. So it's another aspect is making sure when you're making space to share with everybody else, you're also making space for yourself. You're finding how do I give love to this audience if I'm not loving myself too? So it's all connected. It's all this beautiful thing. And when you walk out into nature, when you walk out, you can feel that. You can see that. You can see that if you live by the mountains. And when I was in Hawaii, I could see the beauty of the land there. But when I come home, I see the beauty of the land. Right now, we have all the fall colors, all the leaves. Actually, most of them are on the ground now because it's getting close to winter, but it's still so beautiful. Soon it will be snow, and that's very, very beautiful. After that, it's going to be spring, and then summer, and we have all 4 seasons very apparent here in Wisconsin. We get the very hot, and we get the very, very cold, and everything in between. But it's all beautiful, and it's also a reflection of ourselves. We have all these emotions. We have all these seasons within in ourselves, and even in our life, we have the spring, the summer, the fall, the winter. We're cycling through that through time. I have a little infant, and a lot of times when babies are born, they don't have any teeth, and they don't have as much hair, or either no hair or not as much hair. Except for one of my sons, he was born with a ton of hair. But as we go through life, we go through those different stages, those different seasons as well. Maybe when we're born, we need to be taken care of. As we are getting close to passing, we need to be taken care of sometimes like a baby. And sometimes we're losing our teeth again. And sometimes we're losing our hair again. And losing some of our capacity, our mental capacity to put things together. But it's all to be embraced, just like those seasons. So what I'm basically trying to get at is that we have to accept all these things and know that they're beautiful. And it's not easy to do because we're human, and because we'll say, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, I know that, but it kind of woke up in me. Now, how do I put it into practice every day? That's difficult, but it starts in here. It starts in here. Accepting who you are, accepting how things are, accepting life and death, knowing that it's just another part of life, and once again that's reflected in nature. You see the leaves come down, and they're seemingly dying as they fall off the tree, and then they decompose, but they're going into Grandmother Earth, and they're coming out as seeds for new trees. They're fertilizing. And so in one way we continue to live on. Your grandparents, even when they pass, or your parents, or whoever, they continue to live on in this new life. Same with our thoughts. We put out a thought, we put out a song out there, and maybe a child hears it, and when we pass, maybe that part of that melody comes out in their song, and so it's like that leaf that decomposed goes in, and it feeds something else, and it comes out as more music, as more beauty. So all these things are so connected. I'm gonna do just a part of another song. I think I have a. Yeah, I do. because it kind of reminded me of a song, and I'll just do a part of it because this is isn't that long of a time we got together. And this is called "To Grow in the Rain." I'm just going to do a little part of it, but when we think about rain, think about the pain in our lives. A lot of times people associate rain with the blues, depression. But if we didn't have the rain, we wouldn't have any strength. We wouldn't have any water. We wouldn't have any resilience. We wouldn't grow. And the song is called "To Grow in the Rain," because that's what we need. We need struggles, because that helps us get strength and get new insight how to figure out problems. If we only had sunshine, metaphorically, in our life, we would be so weak. We wouldn't know how to deal with things. So we need that adversity. We need those changes. Behind each cloud lives the light. I just thought of something. I should grab my lyrics here because and some of the lyrics in here are a little bit too important to make them up on the spot. I've written probably over 300 or more songs, and so and I play so many different ones that I don't remember them all the time. Behind each cloud lives the light. With each doubt we choose to stay on, choose to hide. Sun will rise after dark nights. We decide to live in pain or decide to grow in the rain. Through pain and beauty comes a birth, and from death is in the end, oh, just rebirth. Does thunder scream, lightning kiss the earth? We decide to live in pain or decide to grow in the rain. Sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we feel pain won't subside. But we have a choice. We can decide to see the beauty within each dark night. It's there we can grow. It's there we can grow in the rain. And it keeps going, another verse and a solo and whatever. But I know we're short on time, so I'm not going to keep going on that. But the point, once again, is we accept the changes, we accept the adversity, we accept the struggles, and if we can learn to see the pain and the struggle as just a lesson to be learned, rather than something that is stopping us from writing songs, stopping us from playing music, then it becomes part of our strength, part of our power, and then it becomes something that we can deliver and share with other people, so it can help them with their life changes and with their life struggles. Um, and in a way, like as musicians or artists, we're kind of like we're kind of like warriors. We're here to deliver something, to pass on something, to share it, and to help other people, to protect other people. And so a warrior does not have to mean violence. It can mean because like for our in our traditional ways, our warriors were the ones that took care of the elders, that took care of the people whenever somebody needed help. They were the first to step up and help. Um, and so you can be a peaceful warrior with your music, and you can help. And I know sometimes, like as musicians, we have to step up and be activists. You know, we have to stand up for, it could be for animal rights, it could be for human rights, it could be for the environment, whatever. But if we have a sense of balance in our life, and we have a little more control over our emotions, where we don't just react quick like with an emotion, you know, that fight or flight thing. Instead, we have some time to reflect, take a breath, and then deliver something that's more powerful, that can promote more change to more people. I think that's that can be one of our beautiful strengths, and we have a much bigger chance to impact more people in a good way. So I need another drink of water here. I'm very dry when you're jet lagged and you don't get much sleep. A big tip: if you fly on a plane, my last flight was 9 hours, and then I had probably about 18 hours of travel because I had three flights plus the getting to the airport plus the layovers, and you need tons of water. Airplane, the air is blowing and it's really dry, and it's not good for your voice. So even if you have to keep telling your neighbor who you're sitting next to on a plane, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom, it's worth it. You know, it's worth it for your audience, you know. And I don't know, maybe you can give a CD to the person sitting next to you, or give them your part of your lunch tray from the when they hand out their airline's lunches or whatever. But or maybe ask if you could trade with and get an aisle seat, because it's going to help you. It's going to really help you. And touring is hard. Sometimes I do 40 shows in 30 days on a tour, and if you start out with an ailing voice, how are you going to recover if you're singing every night? You know, or even doing 2-3 shows a day, or even maybe sometimes getting a break here and there. You need that. You need to be as healthy as possible coming into it, and then sticking with it throughout the tour. So I know I'm talking about a lot of different things, and we only have probably another like I don't know 7 minutes, or about another 7 minutes before we're going to open it up to questions. So what I would like to do though, before we open it up to questions, actually I think I'm going to change this a little bit. Let me think. No, I'll do it this way. I would like for all of you, because we got a little bit of time yet, write in the chat, what are some of your challenges? What are some of the obstacles for performing, for getting your voice out, from whatever And I'm gonna watch in the chat for this. And even if somebody's in here and they're not a musician, you can put in some of your challenges as well. Okay, good. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Okay, not comparing myself and my path to others. Um, that is tough, you know, confidence, and that's something I deal with. I still deal with, but I think the confidence comes um, when you realize it's not, like I said, it's not about you anyway. It's not about me anyway. When I made that realization that I'm just channeling, like for me, music is this big, powerful river, and it flows through everything, through life. And as a musician, as a songwriter, I just jump in. Instead of fighting the current, I flow with it. And that means I just try to be wide open as possible in my performance, and realize the more open I am, um, instead of feeling like, oh, I'm going to mess up, or, oh, there's this incredible musician that's sitting in the front row. It's like, hey, I was born for a reason, and the reason that incredible musician is sitting in the front row is because they want something that I can deliver, and that's my personality. That's something that I have that nobody else has, and it's not, you know, about just technique. It's about your voice, the voice that you were given. You know, um, that's what um, that's what you're there to deliver. And so um, the thing I just performed at in Hawaii, um, there were incredible jazz musicians, that mostly jazz musicians there, um, and I um, I sometimes I hang out with jazz, but I'm not a jazz musician. But sometimes I hang out with jazz, and so um, okay, how do I fit into that? Um, I just be myself. That's the big thing. Whatever I've done in my music and in my life, I bring that all to the table. Everything that I am. I'm Menominee. I also have European American. I also have Mexican. I just try to allow all my ancestors to be present, and allow all, if I have what we call flaws, that's just part of my personality. I allow that to be in the music too, because there's no way to get to not be yourself, you know. Um, so that helps. And then, yeah, we can start to compare ourselves to others, but if you know that, you'll find out that that they just want to see you. They want something different, and that's what you are. Because they've heard everybody else. They've heard other people play. They've heard Segovia play. They've heard Charlie Parker play. They've heard Jimi Hendrix play. They've heard, I don't know, fill in the blank. Um, but they're there for something different, and that's what you have to give. You know, you know, time spent away from your young children is huge. Um, that is an obstacle. What I did was I started to take my kids on tour with me from 3 years old up. That's not easy for everybody, but it doesn't mean I took them on every show or and things like that. But I've had them be a part of my life, um, and when they were too young to go, I'd stay home. Like the first, when they were very little, um, because I have 6 children, and my first 5 were born within 7 years. So I didn't go out as much and perform as much. I stayed home more often then. But that's where you can live stream nowadays. Um, you know, oh, baby sleeping. Let's put that out there. But you can also take them out with you, um, and let them be a part of it, because they everybody loves that, Everybody loves to see a child in a space with you, um, and also they're learning so very much through those things that you're doing. When they watch you and you model the love and passion you have for music, that's going to help them to whatever it is. Maybe it's not music, but they'll see that you did what was so important to you, and they will be able to do that in their life as well, because you found a way. And there's challenges. There's so many challenges, but they are obstacles. But at the same time, they might be the strengths that they might be that rain coming down, or that storm that actually turns into your power and your strength. And my songs and my things became much more powerful. My music became much more powerful when I had children. My first CD came out right after the first child was born, um, and so a lot of my creativity just started to really flow and become deeper. And having to keep up a non-musical gig to pay the bills, that's really tough. It really is. I've done it before too. I've been a construction worker and had to play on the weekends where my fingers were so stiff from doing construction work. But you'll find a way through it. You know, you'll find a way to share what you need to share. You know, that Stone song, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And maybe that non-musical gig will lead into something else. Or maybe that non-musical gig, maybe it will help you to be able to relate to those people and write songs for those people to help them through it. It might become your strength. You know, insecurities about appearance and weight, all those things are all human things. Um, you know, I've always been insecure about myself, um, and you find out that everybody's insecure. A lot of times people put on a big show like they're totally confident, but nobody is totally confident. You know, and the cool thing is people are starting to embrace these things even on television and on the media now. Um, Weight is not an issue like it was. The media still tries to fool you, but it's not. If your personality is beautiful, it'll shine through. Even like those, you know, you'll see on some of these American Idol. I don't know what's out there right now, but some of these shows, they're starting to embrace people of all sizes, genders, ways, and people are finding out the media is having to change because the people are accepting and embracing difference. Um, and uh, so so the first step is to hug yourself, to love yourself just the way you are, and then go out and share that. And if somebody says something that offends you, that's because they're insecure, you know. So you just share your art, and share who you are, and you'll be able to push right through all those little things, because everybody that criticizes is just having some kind of insecurity themselves, you know. um, let's put in the chat, let's put something that's very, very important to you, like in music or in life, um, and let's keep it to one or two words. Okay, beautiful. Hmm. See another smile. Some wonderful things. Just sharing these things right now is empowering all of us. You know, that's a huge lesson. Um, when we share our insecurities, when we share our passions, when we just share in general, it just opens up everything. It takes that weight on your shoulders and says, hey, I don't need to carry this anymore. I shared it with people in a safe place, like this, and all of a sudden that's off your shoulders, and now you can start to create and be yourself more. It's huge. It's really huge to do these things, and you put them in songs. When you step on the stage, don't be afraid to talk about some insecurities that you have. You might introduce a song that you wrote about something that's close to that topic, and the people in the audience that are also insecure, you could say, I'm like for myself, I was always insecure about my nose, or I was always insecure when I was a kid about acne, or I was whatever. You bring that to the table and you be honest when you step on that stage. You don't have to just tell them everything, but if it's related to a song you're doing, all of a sudden it speaks to this person and this person and this person in the audience, and all of a sudden you have a close relationship with them. They feel it, you feel it, because you were honest. And that's what I'm feeling just when everybody's writing these things down. I'm feeling honesty. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm starting to take something off my shoulders, some of those obstacles, and share them with people, and do that on stage, because you're going to speak to so many more people than going up there pretending that you're not afraid, pretending that you're somebody else, because whoever you're pretending to be, they're really not that way either. They're a lot like you. You just don't realize it, because you see the image on the screen, or you see the what their agent wants you to see, or their manager, or whatever. And I met tons of musicians around the world, and artists, and just people in general. We're all the same. We're all the same, So what I want to do is take some of these wonderful things that you've written down, and I'm just gonna sing through some of this, okay? If you don't mind, because it's your voices. These are your lyrics. Let's see. I'm just scrolling right now to find where it starts. Okay. Let me. And I'm just improvising. I'm just going to improvise here. But we kind of are writing a song together. Time spent away from my children, having to keep paying these bills. I get so insecure when I look in the mirror, starting my music as a second career. Oh, it can be so challenging. And sometimes putting it out there. I gotta pause, I'm scrolling. But I'm finding the message of my music is so instrumental. I sing for my creator, I express myself, tell my story. My music is my passion, and I do it with intention. And I see those people smile when I share my heart an experience. When I share my heart, I share it with you and me and everybody. Share it with you and me and everybody. Share it with you, with me and everybody. Everyone. So what we're doing is we're just sharing. We're just sharing. That's all this is about. All anything in life that we do, a performance, sitting in the audience, whatever. We just want to show up. First, we show up. We show up, and despite our anxieties, despite our insecurities, despite any obstacles, we find a way to show up. I've had gigs where I was actually on a program like American Idol one time. It was called Ed McMahon's Next Big Star. When they called me, I had the flu. I was really sick. I had to perform in 2 days at the Chicago World Music Festival, and then they wanted me to fly out to do a performance in Las Vegas for this contest type of American Idol type of thing, and I said yes. And it was on, it was a Wednesday, and I had to be there on a Friday or something. I said yes, but I also said, they asked me what I was going to perform. I said, I'm going to do a song for my son. And he said, really? You're going to lose. That's what the producer said. I said, well, what other chance do I get to sing a song on TV for my son? So I did it. I remember I got about an hour of sleep because I was performing the night before. I was still recovering from the flu. I wasn't contagious anymore, but I was really weak with my voice and everything. And then I got an hour of sleep, flew from Chicago to Las Vegas, and they brought me in and put makeup on me right away in the makeup room and sent me out on stage, and I had to do my song in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And fortunately, I did it in 2 minutes and 15 seconds, but the producer came up after the show, and she said, she had tears in her eyes, and she said, we haven't had anything that powerful, and I know you lost, but because I didn't sing a familiar song for the audience, but she said, I think you're going to make it. You're just going to take a long time getting there because you're doing things your own way. I did make it because I'm successful inside. I love my children. I love my family. I get to be with them, and I get to do what I love to do. So you are all of that. All of you are. You have the ability to be successful inside, and that's the biggest success anybody can have. If you wake up in the morning and you feel good about what you did the night before, you're successful. And that means being honest and doing things that are important to you, and knowing that you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need, and what you need is really what's gonna at the end of your life, you'll know it was a good life because you got what you needed. So you all have that, we just have to deal with our insecurities, and on a daily basis, I still as much all these things I'm saying, I still doubt myself, and I still get I'll do a big tour, and I'll come home, and then I'll be twiddling my fingers, my thumbs for a couple of weeks, and then I feel like what do I have to offer? But then I'm back on stage, and I show up, and I find out I still have something to offer, So dealing with your obstacles, just show up, and you'll find a way. You'll put yourself in a position where you got to do it, and you'll do it. You'll find a way through. You may be sick like I was or something, or whatever. I even sang when I had COVID on a live stream, and probably shouldn't have done that, but it was rough. But you find a way, somehow you find a way to deal with things and make things better. So we're gonna have to wrap it up, but um, I really so much appreciate all of you, and you know, in our culture, that Natanui Makunak means all my relatives. So all of you are like my relatives. You're like my brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, nieces, nephews. I don't know what ages you are, but um, treat your everybody that way, and you'll have success. And do it not just for the humans, do it for the plants and the animals and all the life on the earth. When we live together like that, um, everything is strong, everything is powerful, and everything is unique and needs to be shared, and that includes you, me, everything. So I really thank you for for coming and showing up here, you know, um, because this is how we make things move forward in life, by showing up and sharing who we are. So I appreciate you all, and we got about a minute left. I don't know if you have anything to wrap it up with, Pandion.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Wade.
Okay, I gotta mute my.
That was beautiful messages and music both. So I appreciate that so much, and I know everyone else did too. Thank you so much for all of that. So inspirational and just and so nice to hear as musicians, other musicians talk about their journeys, and it gives a lot of, it bolsters the motivation, I think, because I have that feeling often of like, what do I have to offer? And it's nice to hear other musicians go through the same things, and just all those reminders are so good to keep in mind. So thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Wade. And thank you everyone for sharing your pieces in the chat as well. That was lovely to see everybody, and it's vulnerable putting yourself out there in that way. So thank you for sharing, everyone. And I think let's make sure that there were no questions at the end. No song submission today. That will be at the end of the month, our last workshop of the month. There'll be song submissions available. And yeah, everyone's just saying thank you so much. And then Rick also mentioned that you're going to be performing on the 30th. Is that right, Wade? In case there's anyone in the area.
Uh, I'm sure if Rick says that, I'm sure it is because I'm performing a lot and I don't have everything on the calendar. But if he saw that, it is correct. I
Great.
tend to okay, my next gig is here, and I focus on that, and then I look at, okay, where's the next one, and then I focus on that. But he knows, he's on top of things pretty good.
Great. He's your
So
secret agent.
yes, if Rick said that, I will be there.
Thank
Amazing.
you so much, Wade. It's fantastic having you here today, and our awareness and our celebration for brother, sister, and for giving Thanksgiving, thanks, thankful November. That's what we're calling our thing this month. And so thank you for being here today with us. And Jordan, are we going to say anything about the rest of the month, or who's next week, or
Yeah, next week we're gonna have Elena Rodriguez de Paul on. She's an anti-racist activist, and she's gonna speak about how that applies to music, and as a musician, how we can be more aware and practice activism ourselves. So that'll be great. Please join us if you're around for that. Same time. Oh, actually, no, sorry. That'll be 3 p.m. Pacific time next week. So let's not forget that. And yeah, and then we'll have Tiffany Anders as our music supervisor for the end of the month. And she's going to speak about her work on Reservation Dogs. If you know about that TV series, she created the soundtrack for that and worked with a lot of Native artists. So that'll be a very interesting, lovely chat. So please join us if you're around for the next few workshops. And then we have some holiday workshops as we get closer to the holidays in December, and we'll announce all those on our newsletter. So if you haven't signed up, you can go to our website, sign up there, and Yeah. Anything else, Rebecca, before we leave?
Yeah, maybe if you have any of you in our community want to email us and give us a little blurb about Pandion and how we are coming through for you, or what you could see us change, or what you're getting out of our free workshops, and how we can get closer as a community. Any ideas? So let us know. We're loving your feedback. And if there's any difficulty signing on at all, we do send an email to everybody giving directions, and we apologize if there's any misunderstanding, but we're doing our best. And thank you for your patience. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Great to see everyone here, and hopefully we'll see you next week at our workshop next week.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Wade.
Thank you.